Now let me also share another story of the same characters. Let's continue. So we know that Bali and Sugriv, they are two brothers. So when Bali and Sugriv, they are two brothers, so but they are very different in nature. When I say very different in nature means Bali is very powerful, very show off, very, kind of, dikhawa and pride and mud, everything is, boasting all the time and showing off his powers. But Sugriv is totally opposite. He's weak, he's scared, he's timid, he's always fearful. And he's always under the shadow of his brother Bali. So wherever Bali is going to show off his power, Sugriv is following him, but he's under the shadow. And everyone knows that Sugriv is the brother of Bali, and Bali knows that nobody can defeat. Sugriv knows that nobody can defeat my brother, so he's always protected. So once Bali goes, he invites another. जो हनुमान जी को जैसे provoke किया था ना अभी, तो एक किसी और राक्षस को वो invite करते हैं, come let's have a मल्ल युद्ध, let's have fight. So now they both are fighting. The Rakshas as well as Bali, they are busy fighting, but Sugriv is following them. पीछे पीछे है. So लड़ते while fighting only, they enter a cave. And Bali and that Rakshas, उसका नाम मायावी था, they both enter the cave. And Bali, while entering, tells Sugriv, wait here only. I'll come back. Okay, and he enters. Now, Sugriv, is very scared, very timid, very fearful for everything. He is now sitting outside waiting कि कब वो बाहर आएंगे. But he's listening to all the yells, all the cries, everything. They're when they are fighting, lot of noises are created. वो बाहर बैठ के सुन रहा है. थोड़ी देर के बाद he realized after few days, it is said, it's written that few days there the fight continued. After few days, he saw Bali's cries, yells, and a stream of blood coming out of the cave. Now Sugriv said, oh my God, Bali is dead. And now that Rakshas will come out and kill me. And I have no strength to fight. I have no power to encounter that Rakshas. What he does is, in that fearful state of mind, he picks up a stone, a huge rock, and covers the mouth of the cave. And runs towards Kishkinda and tells, Bali is dead, Bali is dead, Bali is dead. Now, because Bali was the king and the kingdom cannot be, empty. They have to have a king, they have to have a leader. Ministers, they request him, okay, you become the king because you are the younger brother. And Sugriv becomes the king of Kishkinda and he's coronated. After a few days, Bali comes back. And when Bali comes back, he just enters the kingdom, their palace, dethrone that, Sugriv from the throne. He immediately just brings him out and he wants to kill him. Because Bali is very angry, he's very powerful, he's angry. And he throws him out and he says, if I see you again, because everybody says, he's your brother, why you are killing him? Then he says, okay, but don't show me my face. I am going to kill you. तो हनुमान और थोड़े से और जो जैसे जामवन थे, few more loyalists, they actually come with the Sugriv and they go to one mountain. I will tell you the story of the mountain also, why they go to that mountain. Because Bali told me, if I see Sugriv somewhere, I will kill him. Right? Now, this is a short story where I have told you कि वो दोनों का character क्या है and दोनों का cave में क्या हुआ उनके साथ incident, and then जब वो kingdom में वापिस आता है बाली, वो सुग्रीव को निकाल देता है उनसे. Now, what my interpretation of this story is, one thing is, when you are very scared, when you are so fearful, when you are so timid, your emotion is always high and you cannot take the right decision, which you were mentioning earlier. सुग्रीव को मालूम था कि बाली को कोई हरा नहीं सकता है, लेकिन वो भूल गया, उसको याद ही नहीं आया कि बाली को कोई हरा ही नहीं सकता है, तो वो कैसे राक्षस जो है उसने अंदर बाली को मार दिया होगा. घबराहट में, डर में और अपनी जान बचाने के लिए, इस चिंता में उसने वो केव का जो डोर था वो लॉक कर दिया, उसको बंद कर दिया. दूसरी बात यहाँ पर ये है कि जब उसने वो खून की जो धार देखी, the stream of blood coming out from the cave, when he watched it, he did not realize that this is Bali's blood. This is what we need to understand. We don't know our lineage. We have forgotten our roots. We don't recognize our own roots. We don't recognize our own legacy. कहाँ से हम आते हैं? Where this bloodline is coming from? We have all forgotten that. So this beautiful lesson, and Neha, I want to also mention here that we are very much like Sugriv. We are timid. I will explain why we are like Sugriv if the time permits. But as human beings, we are like not Bali. We are not like Hanuman. We are like Sugriv. I will explain to you if time permits. But I will give you my last interpretation. And when he comes back, Bali comes back in the back to Kishkinda. He doesn't let Sugriv tell why this all incident happened. He's so angry. First, Sugriv ne galat decision liya because of overwhelming fear. Now he's taking the wrong, he's doing something wrong. Bali is doing something wrong with overwhelming anger. गुस्से में भी तो गलत डिसीजंस हो जाते हैं ना. तो यहाँ पर बहुत ज्यादा गुस्सा आया है उसे और उसने सुग्रीव को धमकी देकर निकाल दिया और ना तो उसको बोलने दिया. Most of the time we do na in our relationships. Mostly aggressive people will do like this. They will not let other person explain their point of view, why we have done this or why we have taken this decision or why we have taken this action. So these things, all these scriptures, wonderful stories, they actually are here to transform us. They are actually there to actually help us to transform and move to a better state of mind. Emotional equilibrium, which I call. I give it to you, Neha, now. You can.
Thank you. Thank you, doctor. Yeah. Actually a beautiful story. और ये जो आपने एक बात कही ना कि stories जो है they're actually to help us to come to our equilibrium. I totally second you on that because I have seen beautiful healing aspects of just एक कहानी अगर हम बदल देते हैं, which we call narrative. That what is the narrative that we keep telling ourselves of a particular incident. So if we change that narrative in our mind, that actually takes care of all those aspects such as of Sugriv, that timidity or that emotional outburst, more to do with the emotions. Astrologically, I feel that is kahani say there are amazing healing aspects which come out for that one graha jisse almost hum sare darte hain. A lot of us are afraid of whether we know astrology or not. Everybody has heard about Saturn, about Shani Dev, right? And mostly as an astrologer, even though I come across people even though they don't know about anything about astrology, but they know about कि मेरा शनि का टाइम चल रहा है और मेरा सैटर्न का टाइम चल रहा है और
कष्ट आया तो शनि की दशा हो गई.
हाँ, एग्जैक्टली. एंड कि और किसी ने मुझे बोला है कि उसमें हनुमान चालीसा पढ़े, इट इज एक्चुअली ट्रू, राइट? एंड इसलिए हमारा सार निकलता है. आपने बोला यू सेड सुग्रीव्स timidity, right? Which means that we feel very timid. We feel as if we are bogged down, especially when we feel fear. These are all significations of Saturn. What Saturn does, what Shani Dev does is that it puts a focus on our human life, which means instead of looking at the bigger picture, which is what Hanumanji does, which is what Mars does, but you have the courage if you surrender and all, that's all what Hanumanji say. But when we start making it all about us, mere saath ho raha hai, it is me who is facing that. And every time we train our brain, which means that we make our Saturn go even more worse for us, we get to this angle of fear. And which is why it is said कि Saturn का तोड़ या Saturn की रेमेडी हनुमान चालीसा में है, मार्स में है कि अपना करेज बढ़ाओ, अपना सरेंडर लाओ, bring about that surrender to the universe, to Ramji, to Surya Dev. In the olden days, that is the reason why there was a tradition of doing Surya Namaskar or pouring jal to the Surya every morning. It's very scientific. I would just like to say that astrology के जो remedies हैं, those are very scientific. Now the idea is when we give Surya Jal, we are actually doing it from a little ahead of upwards to our forehead, and the dhar of the water should be such that the Surya rays fall on our body through that dhar. Now what is that? Water, the dhar of the water, the stream of water creates a prism effect of the rays of the sun which then falls on our body. And those are 7 rays of the sun. Each ray of the sun is associated with a particular graha and with a particular planet and hormone in our body. When they fall on our body and when we absorb it, it automatically balances our hormonal system. Once our hormones are balanced, we will feel better. We will be able to make better decisions. We will not feel that fear and timidity, and we will be able to live life with a lot more confidence. Exactly what was happening with Sugriv, that every time he felt timid, Hanumanji used to come and say, and in fact, he was the one who helped Sugriv find the Ramji, which is that source of energy, that Surya. So, आपकी life में वो कौन सूर्य है और वो कौन मार्स है? If you do feel fearful, this is the reason why they say Hanuman to read Hanuman Chalisa so that courage can come into you. And another aspect which you mentioned, Dr. Anita, that we've forgotten to recognize our own blood. It's true. We see so many problems happening between siblings, between families. We have forgotten. We have put Mars with Ketu. Ketu means Vaira. Ketu means Katna. or Mars with Saturn, which again is separation, right? Then in this case, my recommendation to everybody will be to balance out your Mars. Maybe get into such activities as blood donation, which is Mars. Blood is Mars. And if you cannot donate blood due to whatever reasons, because if you have Mars and Ketu or Mars and Saturn already in conjunction in your chart, which means that they're sitting together, you might already have blood-related issues or issues in relation to your bones, etc. So donate blood or facilitate blood donation, which means that connect people to people who need blood over a period of time. Because कर्म तो है हमारे chart में लिखा हुआ है, but over a period of time, you would see, because you are going out, you are making that effort, your Mars is getting utilized, it will help you. And the other thing which you mentioned, that Bali did not even give an opportunity to Sugriv to speak, which actually is an indicative of a very immensely bad Mercury karma, Buddha Dev ka karma. कि सुन तो लो सामने वाला क्या कह रहा है. Today we live in a day and age where we assume if somebody is not in tandem with what we want to believe or we think is right, we don't even give the opportunity of samvad, which means a discussion, that at least come to a common platform and tell me where is your thought coming from. Maybe your thought has some value to it. But अगर हमने अपने, if we have made it in our mind that this person is wrong, we will not even give an opportunity to the person to say anything, and which is where misunderstandings happen. And sometimes misunderstandings lead to what happened in the case of Bali and Sugriv, that Bali died. So sometimes these misunderstandings are fatal. They lead to a very, very wrong decision. They lead to families untying themselves, separating, going their own ways. And which is why if you just give a very patient hearing to somebody, which means that you better your karma with Mercury, which means with communication. Even workplace ke jab emails aati hai, when you get emails, if it is a provocative email, if we conserve our energy, which we discussed earlier, which means conserve our Mars, and then mindfully draft a reply. First of all, see, does this email really require my attention and my energy? You come to a conclusion that yes, it does. Then you draft a reply carefully, which is you utilize your Mercury well, such as there are no misunderstandings. Most of the times will better your sun, which means your confidence, which means people will start taking you seriously. People who have strong sun, which is Ram in the case of Sri Ram in the case of Ramayana, they just have to be there. They will say one word and people will listen to them. Most of the times these are people who don't speak much. They just communicate in one line, and people are they're like, I have to follow this. Because they have such a strong aura, they have such a strong sun, they're not wasting their Mars, they're not wasting their Mercury. People around them take them seriously. So yeah, over to you, Doctor.
Yeah, that's very true. So I'm very happy that you brought these points up, when you said कि सूर्य को जब हम जल चढ़ाते हैं तो उसकी जो rays आती हैं, they are like 7 planets, and we as healers, we resonate with these 7 colors as Vibgyor, and as 7 colors of chakras. They activate your chakras. They actually, and all these chakras, they are corresponding to our hormonal system. और आजकल जो PCOS, PCOD और हार्मोनल इम्बैलेंस की इतने ज्यादा इश्यूज हो गए हैं हमारे आसपास जब हम लोगों को देखते हैं, this is all because of their emotional turmoil. They are not able to handle their emotions like fear, like anger, and a very beautiful concept when you were explaining this came to me when you were talking about email, that we take it mindfully and then respond. So we should not react as Bali has reacted in this case, impulsive reactions. We should respond, take a pause, try and understand the other's point of view also. You cannot read everybody's mind. You just ask them. Have that communication. कि सभी रिश्ते आज जो बिगड़ रहे हैं वो इसीलिए कि हम दूसरे का पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू नहीं समझ पा रहे, हम दूसरे को सुनना ही नहीं चाहते हैं. हम जो सोच रहे हैं ऐसा जानते हैं कि उनको सबको समझ आ रही है हमारे मन की बात, और फिर हम जो चाहते हैं वही सबसे करवाना चाहते हैं. सो ये एक बात हमें सीखनी है कि बाली जैसा नहीं बनना है. बाली में शक्तियां हैं, लेकिन उसकी शक्तियों का इस्तेमाल कहाँ हो रहा है? डिस्ट्रक्शन में हो रहा है. हनुमान के पास शक्तियां हैं, लेकिन उनका इस्तेमाल कहाँ हो रहा है? सबकी भलाई में और फिर अपने पर्पस को ढूंढने में. अब हम यहाँ पर पर्पस की बात करते हैं, तो हम पर्पस की बात करते हैं हमारा जीवन का जो भी पर्पस है, टू बी वन विद द हायर सोल, वन विद कॉन्शियसनेस, राम से एक होना. हम यहाँ पर राम को इसलिए बोलते हैं, यहाँ पर कोई रिलीजन की क्लास नहीं चल रही है, बी वेरी श्योर अबाउट. जैसे हमने कहा राम इज द core, the soul, the purpose or the fabric from which we are created, right? So this is our root. अब यहाँ पर जो हमें सोचने की बात है, यदि बाली जैसा नहीं बनना है तो हमें सुग्रीव जैसा भी नहीं बनना है. We don't have to be timid. Overwhelming emotions will always tarnish your intellect. ओवरवेलमिंग इमोशन, चाहे वो फियर की थी या एंगर की थी, दोनों ने नुकसान किया है, दोनों ने ही टर्मोइल क्रिएट किया है। और उनकी शांति कब हुई है, उनको आराम कब मिला है, जब उनको राम मिले हैं। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना, राम मिलाए राजपद दीना। हनुमान चालीसा में हम पढ़ते हैं कि हनुमान जी ने राम को मिलाया किससे, सुग्रीव को मिलाया राम से, ताकि वो अपने कोर से एक हो गए, अपनी आत्मा से एक हो गए, और उसके बाद राजपद मिल गया। मतलब नॉट ओनली किष्किंधा का राजपद, लाइक यू बिकम वन विद द यूनिवर्स, वन विद योर ओन सोर्स. So this is the Rajpad. So this is very beautifully, packed or wrapped in stories like this. पर इसका फायदा तब है जब हम इसको अपने जीवन में लागू करेंगे, जब हम अपने डे टू डे लाइफ में अपने एंगर पे कंट्रोल, I will say not even control, just be aware. The moment you are aware of your emotions, आप अपने इमोशन में, अक्सर ये हम सुनते हैं, don't express your anger, explain your anger. When you explain, you are communicating कि मुझे ये बात अच्छी नहीं लगी है, मुझे ये बात बुरी लगी है, या मुझे इस बात से गुस्सा आया है. Talk about it. समझाएं दूसरे इंसान को कि मुझे explain your anger. तो कम्युनिकेशन की भी बहुत जरूरत है यहाँ पर. जैसे हमने अभी देखा कि बाली के केस में एक्सप्लेनेशन नहीं मांगी उसने सुग्रीव से और उसको निकाल दिया.